Cats and the internet go together like bread and butter. Think of all the famous cats that the internet has cherished. Keyboard Cat, Grumpy Cat, Bongo Cat, Maru, Pusheen, Billy, Hello Kitty, and countless others. But none have quite reached the legendary status of the one and only Nyan Cat. And yes, it is pronounced Nyan Cat, not Nyan Cat, or as some crazy people pronounce it, Neon Cat. It's simply Nyan Cat. But more on that later. First, we're going to talk about something very special. You see, the day of this video's release is Nyan Cat's 10th anniversary, April 2nd, 2021. Although the original Nyan Cat YouTube video was uploaded on April 5th, Nyan Cat itself was actually created on April 2nd. Almost everybody seems to have heard of Nyan Cat in one way or another, and the original Nyan Cat video has over 180 million views. Calling Nyan Cat a viral meme would be an understatement. So, to celebrate this monumental meme's decade of existence, we'll be going over
The history of Nyan Cat.
To begin, let's talk about Chris Torres, the creator of this celebrated meme. In an interview with Know Your Meme, Chris Torres elaborated on Nyan Cat's origins. Chris had been an active artist for some time, even creating various webcomics. In April of 2011, he, along with many others, participated in and created various events to raise money for relief efforts for a recent and devastating string of earthquakes. Chris specifically set up a live stream that could be donated to, where he worked on several art projects. During one particular live stream, he asked his live chat for suggestions on what artwork he should create next. As ideas floated around, he eventually combined a few and created a picture of a cat with a cherry Pop-Tart body on a rainbow-filled background that he named Pop-Tart Cat, which was actually partly inspired by his pet at the time, Marty, a Russian blue. Everyone loved the random doodle so much that later that day he spent 6 hours reimagining the drawing into a GIF, a graphics interchange format. You know, like this. Anyways, he spent 6 hours developing this into this. Once finished with his masterpiece, Chris posted it to Twitter, Tumblr, and his personal website. At the time, he thought nothing of it. Within just a few days, however, the digital cat exploded in popularity, with the animation being shared and posted all over the web. Things were going well, but Pop-Tart Cat was still just your average meme, nothing special. That is, until April 5th, 2011, when the internet was forever changed. On July 25th, 2010, a song entitled Nya 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 was uploaded to the internet by user Daniwell. Daniwell wrote and produced the song, while the vocals were provided by Hatsune Miku. The song was quite basic, simply a repetition of the word nya at a fast rate. In Japanese culture, nya is the word describing the noise a cat makes. So in Japan and a few other places, the word nya is used instead of the word meow. Nya 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 became relatively popular, and on January 30th, 2011, user Mo uploaded a remixed version of it featuring synthesized vocals. Why am I telling you all this? Well, on April 5th, 2011, YouTube user Sarah June combined Chris Torres' Pop-Tart Cat animation with the previously mentioned remix of Nya 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 and created a video that they titled Nyan Cat. Within a month, the video reached 7.2 million views, being placed among the top 10 memes of the month. But unlike most trends, Nyan Cat's reign was not short-lived, and nearing the end of 2011, the video had reached upwards of 50 million views. Hundreds of parodies, fan art, and similar memes began to pop up as the viral video reached legendary status. But the story doesn't end there, because although Nyan Cat had become a legend, its original creator was still relatively unknown, and as a result of this, on June 27th, 2011, the unthinkable happened. Nyan Cat was taken down from YouTube. This was a result of a DMCA complaint, a Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Someone was claiming to be Chris Torres and said the Nyan Cat animation belonged to them. Upon learning this, the real Chris Torres took immediate action. He took many steps to try to unblock the video, but nothing seemed to work. So, in a last-ditch effort to save Nyan Cat, he contacted Sarah June and Danny Well for help. With each of them having played a part in Nyan Cat's creation, these unlikely allies were able to band together and submit a counterclaim to YouTube. The world waited anxiously. And then, finally, after hours of suspense, Nyan Cat was restored to YouTube on June 28th of 2011. Nyan Cat had officially won its first legal battle, but it wouldn't be its last. Warner Brothers and Fifth Cell, media giants. These two companies joined forces to create a game called Scribblenauts, a game where you could create and interact with nearly anything. It featured an abundance of pop culture references, and that included Nyan Cat. But Chris Torres, the previously mentioned creator of Nyan Cat, had not been contacted before Nyan Cat's use in the game. Respectfully, Chris contacted Warner Brothers and Fifth Cell asking for financial compensation for their use of Nyan Cat and Scribblenauts. According to Chris, his requests were practically ignored as he was quote-unquote disrespected and snubbed. Having failed to take on Warner Brothers and Fifth Cell by himself, he knew what needed to be done. Once again, he needed allies. Chris wasn't the only one who had been wronged in this scenario. There was another viral meme that had been used by Scribblenauts, one even older than Nyan Cat. Yes, Scribblenauts had used one of the oldest viral cat memes on the internet without permission. The meme? Keyboard Cat. Charlie Schmidt, the man who uploaded the original Keyboard Cat and was the creator of the meme, was happy to help Chris Torres. And together, the two joined forces and filed a joint lawsuit against Warner Brothers and Fifth Cell. In the end, Chris and Charlie won. They were paid handsomely for the continued use of Nyan Cat and Keyboard Cat in the Scribblenauts franchise. As you can see, Nyan Cat is a meme with a rich history and an integral part of internet pop culture, having had its own games, tributes, and a dedicated community. And although it may seem to be an ancient relic of the past, its legacy isn't over yet. Nearing its 10th anniversary in 2021, something interesting happened. Chris Torres created a remastered version of the iconic meme and sold it as a signed piece of digital artwork on a well-known digital art marketplace. Many people doubt whether Nyan Cat is still relevant in the modern era. But how could something no longer relevant sell for 300 Ethereum? Ethereum is a digital currency used for many digital art transactions. How much is 300 Ethereum, you ask? Well, it is equivalent to not $1,000, not $2,000, not even $5,000, but over $500,000. Let that sink in a moment. Nyan Cat is so popular, nay, so legendary and iconic that a remastered edition of it managed to sell for over $500,000. There is no doubt that Pop-Tart Cat is among the greatest memes of all time. Since then, Chris Torres has created even more digital remasters of Nyan Cat and sold them too as digital art. Danny Well has created a celebratory album for the 10th anniversary of Nyan Cat, and many more around the world are celebrating through the creation of tributes, remixes, and much more. April 2nd, a date for the history books. I don't know about you, but on this special occasion, I'm gonna eat some cherry Pop-Tarts. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this special video in honor of a special piece of internet culture. I'll see you later.